This week's episode was brought to you by Hamiltonian Mechanics Lab, Carl Slight, Verum Est, and Jade Slays. Thank you, Hamilton Mechanics Lab, Carl Slight, Verum Est, and Jade Slays. It's with the generous support of listeners like you that our reverse-engineered ancient Hyperborean low Earth orbit telescope takes deeper and more accurate readings of Comet 3I Atlas, which now appears to be a non-Newtonian object that absorbs sunlight without getting hot and is squirting liquid nickel out of its side at velocities that really should alter its orbit or cause it to spin, which impossibly it isn't. So if you'd like to help us keep the giant Hyperborean telescope powered, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of a mere $5 will not only get you instantaneous access to the second half of this episode, it'll get you access to the extended, uncensored, gourmet, double plus good library of episodes which stretch so far back in dog years, we're afraid to talk about it in front of your pets. But that's not all. I'll even send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, which is so sticky, it'll mostly stick to anything. And if that were not enough, you'll be given access to our secret Discord server, where we're preparing what to do with all the nacho cheese once the singularity occurs and the robots outlaw canola oil for human use, because there's actually a shortage and they need it to keep the motors working and the chainsaw appendages. If you enjoy the free show just fine and would rather spend your $5 on ATM fees, then please consider giving us a like, subscribe, or share on your social media platform of choice, especially if you're famous or have a lot of influence. But we know you won't, because your shadow handlers won't let you. I know, because the Archons have outlawed this podcast on 12 solar systems, which you probably didn't know because they all look the same and they're nested inside of each other. But that's a conversation for another episode. On this week's episode, we kick off our boots, glide into our bunny slippers, and set our butts down by the fire to enjoy a seasonally spooky story time with a number of cursed confessions sent in by our diverse audience of listeners, who are also dabblers, seekers, and wizards who have their own special brand of around and find out stories you just won't hear anywhere else. So settle in, get comfy, and let's enjoy the show. You guys know how Bigfoot tells time?
How?
He's got a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
You know, Bigfoot is sometimes confused with Sasquatch.
What? They're the same thing.
Yet he never complains.
Yeti
never complains. I'm sorry. What do they call Bigfoot in Europe?
What?
Big meter.
No.
That's what they call him.
No.
I don't think they have Bigfoot in Europe because it's all settled. Like, there is exactly 0 big feet in Britain. You know what I mean? There's like none.
Are they lacking in the lore too, or what?
There are no Bigfoot in Britain. I am pretty sure. Are there Bigfoot in Britain? Somebody tell me. Somebody write in.
Are there missing 411 cases from Britain?
Yeah, they got fairies and stuff. What did Bigfoot children play at recess?
What?
Hopscotch?
Shh. You're killing it, Mari. Yes, that is in fact the answer. Yes.
Hopsquatch.
Hopsquatch, yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. I was thinking if you had big feet, you could play hopscotch really easily.
Wow. Did you hear about the Bigfoot that got a promotion at work?
No?
No.
He's got big shoes to fill.
That was bad.
What's the difference between Bigfoot and Amber Heard?
What?
Bigfoot won't in your bed.
No? Well, he has to poop somewhere, though.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just discuss what will happen when the Antichrist rises to power and forces everybody to get Tylenol vaccines implanted in their brains so they can restrict access to your pets based on the contents of your dreams the night before, which have been swapped out for an ever-expanding list of subconscious advertisements beamed directly into your nervous system during hypnagogic states. No, we also sometimes just share with you the spookiest stories that you, our listeners, sent in to us, which, without prompting, quite a few of these read like confessions, because if we're being real, a lot of our listeners have had their fair share of punching holes in reality, and sometimes you lose a finger or a toe in the process, figuratively speaking. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as the Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the Archon of Alabama, Marisama.
Bow down and worship me, y'all.
She is an Archon.
The Fighter Cat from the City of Pyramids, Heka Astra.
Hello. Are you saying I'm Sekhmet?
Badass.
It's a little more Crowley coded than that, even. an Easter egg, if you will. Add the vibrations and the gelatin of dreams. Mr. Tim Hacker.
Greetings.
Thank you for joining us, fellow co-hosts. And thank you for joining us, listeners. So, dear listeners, it's that time of year again where we have you send in your spookiest stories. I'm pretty impressed with the submissions we got this year. They're a bit heavier than normal, but I thought before kicking off the stories, I'll just cut right to the chase. I think we actually need a new form of Gnosticism, and I think it needs to be based on the work of Philip K. Dick. I think it needs to be psychedelic in nature. I think it needs to be omnivorous, and I think we need to, like, give it a name or something, because I'm making Heka Astra listen to the Valis audiobook by Philip K. Dick, and I can only think of a handful of ways to make a mountain of synchronicities pop out of nowhere, and none of them are as sober as just listening to the words of Philip K. Dick. Truly, I have had so many synchronicities. Just listening to Valis has reminded me, I almost feel like the whole rabbit itself is kind of like the group of friends from Valis. Like, we almost like grew out of Philip K. Dick's head. That's almost how I feel.
So you're saying we need a form of Gnosticism that's based on phallus?
Yeah.
More zebras.
Because let's be real, it's only a matter of time before we're living in a dystopia that was first imagined by Philip K. Dick. How many movies do we know that are based on his books? So now that I've gotten that off my chest, before I get away from this topic entirely, I'm pretty sure it was Valentinus, who was a Gnostic, that came up with the idea of canon in the first place.
So I guess the Gnostics kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah, they got themselves written out. They became the fan fiction. But that was the point I was making, was that early Christianity was like, it was all just fan fiction. It was like all these different stories about Christ, and there wasn't any one definitive story or teaching, and it was the Gnostics who thought there should be. And then, now they're all considered heretics, even like satanic to some people.
So are we going to hop into stories now?
Yeah, let's do it. So we've got some great stories that were shared with us this week. This first one, we're going to keep it anonymous. Tim, I think you should read this one.
Quote, I was in the Navy and stationed in Japan in the 20-teens. Me and two other guys were standing outside on a catwalk leading to the CIWS, Sea-Whiz. We are floating off the coast and finished doing ammo download. It's nighttime, and we are hanging out looking at the stars. We had just noticed that the constellations during the year are different in Japan than where we were from in the States. I noticed a shooting star and tell Mendoza and Hodges, if you wish on a shooting star, it will come true. Then I say, I wish someone would die. One of them says,
make it more specific.
I say out loud, I wish someone on this ship would die. The moment was over, and we continued to talk and carried on our conversation like nothing happened. The next day, we all found out that a chief from our ship, who was already on shore, probably temporarily assigned to duty or something, he didn't beat us to land or anything. He had a heart attack and died in his car that night. End quote.
Whoa.
See, that's the problem. You go wishing on stars, you go through all the trouble of being specific, and then the guy dies in a car instead of on the boat. What a jip. I could see why this would want to be anonymous, because it's hard to be friends with someone when you know they can just wish on a star and have you die.
Yeah, it's up.
This is coming from someone who's had their powers backlash in a similar bad ways. So I actually feel kind of bad that this happened.
I'm a bit curious of where it came from, what inspired that, if it was just the first thing that popped into this person's head, or if it was they were in a bad mood and just were feeling the death vibe, or I'm curious as to where it came from.
It's just kind of a spooky / badass / I'm not afraid of anything to say when you're with a group of bros on a boat. It's we're going to be wishing on stars. Let's make it interesting. Oops. Turns out wishing upon stars is pretty ancient. As we have discussed on the show, or as anyone who's watched Lion King, the ancients viewed the heavens as the abode of the gods, or in some cases, the domain of the beloved dead. Sometimes these two are the same things. Likewise, the concept that the stars might hear you is as old as recorded history.
Well, we were just talking not too long ago about Three-Eye Atlas and how comets were often viewed as being messengers or angels carrying messages from God. And the distinction between comets and meteorites is probably a little bit blurrier the further back in time you go.
Yeah, well, you're onto something here, because the specific custom of wishing upon stars crystallized in the Greco-Roman world around the 2nd century CE. And this was thanks to Ptolemy, the first guy who accurately calculated planetary orbits. Although I still think he did it with like the Earth in the center. Like you can calculate the orbits on like little wheels mathematically. It's pretty cool, but it's not real. Now, in his work on the apparent motion of the fixed stars, Ptolemy theorized that shooting stars occurred when the gods parted the cosmic spheres to peer down at Earth, creating a brief window for humans to voice their desires. Hence, the urgency to wish before the star vanished. Although by this era, Jews and early Christians reinterpreted them as fallen angels or devils, which added a cautionary layer to it. Like, you know that old hermetic woodblock print or whatever of the guy like peeling back reality and looking at the abode of the stars?
I love that print. It's like a curtain and he's like peeling it back and poking his head out.
Yeah, that's when shooting stars happen. But it's God doing it. And if like you get your wish in, well, the curtain's open, he'll be like, I gotcha. By Shakespeare's time, 16th, early 17th century, they symbolized chaos. They were stars that had escaped from their proper orbits. In England, falling stars were seen as baby souls descending from heaven. While over in Romania, they were likened to extinguished candles signaling the death of somebody nearby. In Lithuania, more or less the same thing. They were thought to signal the end of old people, like if an old person was going to die. By the 19th century, though, the nursery rhyme,
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish I wish tonight.
is that how you
That's
sing
pretty
it?
good.
Yeah, it's actually like a little song. You know what this always reminds me of Venus, when Venus is the first one to be seen in the night sky.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's satanic.
Yeah, we would say this growing up too, but we would say it with more like a poetry. Like there wasn't really a tune. There was just a cadence.
Yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with. Based on my research, this little rhyme popped up in the United States first, and it did no small part in popularizing the whole wishing upon a star ritual all over the world. But there are other cultures that do it. For instance, in the Philippines, you tie a handkerchief to seal the wish, while in Chile, you pick up a stone. Like you see the shooting star, make a wish, pick up a stone.
I bet kids all over the world love this.
You know what's always kind of fascinated me? Did you notice that kids have like their own little world? Like where did that S come from? You know what I mean? The S that all the kids draw.
Oh, where you make like 2 rows of straight lines, 3 of them, and then you connect it all like an S.
Yeah, there's like a million little things like that that only exist in the kids' world, and then when you grow up, you forget about it, but it like still exists.
Or like the little like paper thingies. It's like
Yes!
the 4, and then it's like you stick your hands in it and you go like, do this way, do that way, and you have a number that you do it
Dude,
by.
have they been making those unbroken since like prehistoric times? How would we know? Dude, I bet kids are still sharing the rumor that Marilyn Manson removed a rib to suck his own d. You know what I mean?
We did.
No, he did it!
Yes, he did. It's a proven scientific fact.
No,
Really?
Yeah, dude.
you can't just remove a rib.
You're messing with me.
No, it's objectively factual, backed up by irrefutable evidence.
I could feel the hate mail piling up right. Dude, we're gonna check you right now. Did this really happen?
he just went along with it, from what I understand.
Tim,
You're getting called out.
you are in trouble, mister.
Debunked just means successful cover up.
Modern mythology.
Are you going to say that Zeus doesn't exist next?
Okay, you made your point.
You can't just remove a rib.
Yeah, you have to remove both.
No, dude, it's dangerous for your body.
Your guts could fall out.
Only if you don't use Neosporin.
You've been fact checked.
I don't make the rules.
All right, though. So in terms of the stars being asked to dish out punishment, this is actually a particularly wizardly thing to do, as it's part of the greater curse, which is used in the goetic art of evocation. So the commanding, and if they don't listen, cursing of demons. Now, on this part specifically, I conjured up for us a small excerpt from the greater curse, which goes,
And let the sun, moon, and all the stars curse thee. Let the light and all the holy ones of heaven curse thee unto the burning flame that liveth forever, and unto the torment unspeakable. And let all the elements curse thee, and all the powers of the air curse thee, and all the fowls of the air, and all the beasts of the field, and all the creeping things of the earth, and all the fishes of the sea curse thee. And let all the angels and archangels, and all the principalities and powers, and all the dominions and thrones, and all the cherubim and seraphim, and all the hosts of heaven curse thee. I don't curse you guys, though. I love you.
I only love vengeance and the night. Next is Bananas of Fortuna. This next one comes from Sirius.
Bananas of Fortuna is a great name.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not really following this one, but I'll go ahead and read it.
this one's important, Mari.
Okay, so it goes, not really spooky, but I found bananas a few days ago on the Aventine. The weird part was the college on the hill was out of bananas and refused to give me one, and I had a Charlie horse for the first time after 9 years, like literally limping, and the front desk dude was like, see, the church is over there. I think he's in Italy, guys. After I was on the floor in muscle contraction pain wanting to read their old books. So did he find bananas after he needed them?
I think he did. But the man found bananas on the Aventine. That's the name of the band from this point forward.
Good.
We're renaming the podcast Bananas on the Aventine. So while the ancient Romans were not known to have ever enjoyed bananas, or by extension, had any superstitions about them, by the 1700s onward, the banana became not just a superstition shared among sailors, they do have many, but a full-blown curse that is still avoided to this very day. Turns out, there are some very practical scientific reasons behind this.
Wait, so are you saying that they don't like bananas in Italy?
No, Sirius found bananas in Italy, and I tried to see if that had any ancient mystical significance, and it turns out the Romans didn't have bananas. They didn't have anything like that. They had apples, they had grapes, no bananas.
But what do you mean by it's a full-blown curse that's avoided to this very day?
By sailors, my love.
Oh, by sailors. So Italian sailors still avoid them.
From the 1700s onward,
Wow.
bananas are pretty much the bane of sailors, and it's still true today. Because, okay, hear me out. Pretty much the same reasoning as like why you never, ever, ever put a banana in the same bag as your lunch.
Ugh.
You know what I'm talking about?
It makes everything taste like banana.
Yes.
Is it maybe something to do with like, if you're on a ship and like you only have a whole bunch of bananas to eat? Is it maybe something like akin to when you have too much coconut?
No, it accelerates the rotting of other fruits.
No, I mean like maybe there's also this other thing that's like, has to do with digestion.
Like it makes pirates have diarrhea.
Yeah, which is like really bad because you can't get dehydrated on the sea.
I mean, you can, but you might die.
That's what I mean.
Well, I think Mari was reading ahead.
No, I wasn't. That was a total stab in the dark.
Really? Well, you
Yeah.
connected because it's really because as bananas ripen, they release ethylene gas. And
Yeah, it's the same as in your kitchen. If you leave it next to your apples and oranges, they'll go bad faster than if you put the banana in like a package in the fridge.
yes,
Which is sometimes handy if you want to ripen something faster.
Like peaches, we'll put a banana in the bag with them to kind of like make them ripen faster because peaches are notorious for being underripe.
so there's that, but also as they ripened, they were incredible at hiding spiders, scorpions, or beetles like in their bunches or whatever. And people began to, suspect that it was cursed cargo. They were like demons hiding in the bananas.
I know the banana spider is a really, really bad spider. Like you don't want to get bit by one.
And wouldn't you know, occasionally banana peels would cause fatal falls on deck.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, people would fall on the banana peels.
No.
Yeah, dude. And then, like, fishermen, they begin to believe that the smell of bananas actually repulsed the fish.
I bet someone at some point in time was like, you know what? These smell stinky. Maybe we can use it as bait. And they just like could not catch anything.
Turns out it's true. Science points out that the smell of banana in some cases mimics the smell of predators in the ocean. So you put it all together, and it's like anytime you had bananas on board, the captain is like pushing to get there faster. And they start like overlooking things or like ignoring common sense. And like it would be all too often you would arrive at a shipwreck and there'd be no survivors and a whole lot of bananas floating around. And so to this day, in places like Alaska's Bristol Bay or Florida's Gulf Coast, charters outright ban bananas. And not just bananas, the stickers from bananas. You can't wear a Bananarama t-shirt. You can't have one in your cooler.
No.
Dude, and there's a whole TikTok trend that's like, see if you could sneak one on board and make a TikTok with it. And then if you're a real creep, this gives you an excuse to make banana inspections. I'm sure the yacht cougars love that one.
Oh boy.
Can't just bring your Uber driver on board. She'll give them a banana inspection.
What? This one is from our resident Hierophant, Crazy Lepus, a longtime listener and a friend of the podcast.
Okay, he says, our neighbor has a farm and about 100 acres of land that he graciously allows us to walk our dog on. There's a dirt road that runs through fields and meadows that we typically walk at all hours of the day. Lots of wildlife and critters. One night last October, my wife and I were walking the dog. It was a crystal clear night with stars everywhere, and we were doing a lot of gazing. There was an unusual amount of, quote, satellites, unquote, floating around. We commented on how it was almost like they were putting on a show for us. us. We made it to an area where there is a crossroads, and still looking at the sky, my wife suddenly asks, "What the hell is that?" And she pointed out a housing development to the south of us. There was what I could only describe as a glowing crescent-shaped light that was giving off hues of pink and yellow. It had trails behind it, similar to a jellyfish. It was silently floating along the top of the tree line that bordered the field. It was probably about 50 to 60 feet off the ground, low enough that the taller trees obscured it as it passed by them. We watched it for about 10 to 15 seconds when it suddenly stopped and imploded in on itself in a burst of glitter. The only visual comparison I have is like when a squid shoots its ink to evade a threat while in the water. It left both of us absolutely speechless, and we still can't figure out what it might have been. I personally believe it was a will-o-wisp, but who knows?
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds like a will-o-wisp with bells and whistles on it. UFO!
Dang, what the fuck?
A jelly wisp.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of is maybe ball lightning.
Yeah, but does it? Oh, yeah, it can last for a long amount of time. You're right.
Yeah, and like if it hits something, it can have like a kind of explosion. But like it, even the way that he kind of describes the burst of glitter, I don't know if it matches up like 1-to-1. He would probably be the best judge of that.
This reminds me of those weird UFO drone sightings that were endemic last year.
Yeah, some of those are pretty weird. And in the meantime, the UFO community's been throwing around ideas of either controllable or sentient/intelligent plasma. Have you seen some of that stuff?
Some people think that UFOs, like some type of UFOs, are plasma balls.
I'm sold on that some of them are plasma balls.
Well, I don't think it's a secret that I'm pretty sure the military has like announced that they were working on plasma-oriented weaponry and vehicles.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Damn, that's awesome.
I know lately Ashton Forbes has ventured into some politics, which would probably leave a lot of people as either in the category of strongly agree or strongly disagree. But his work on disclosing these types of craft is second to none. And yes, there are patents and weird stuff. Like, oh yeah, we got this plasma ship that we're thinking about building. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that at least America has some sort of ability to control a plasma-based aircraft. That's what I think. And I think they're pretty powerful. They're pretty scary. They might just be the ultimate weapon. Or these could be the origin of angels, right? Like, oh, what if plasma beings have always existed? I mean, be not afraid, right? I mean, what if you saw one of those things up close? And the next thing you know, you're growing 2 dicks because you got irradiated by it.
Satan has 2 dicks.
And you're like, bonus. Sorry.
You always see the brighter side of things, Tim.
Bonus boner.
2 is always better than 1.
2 heads are better than 1.
DP your wife by yourself. No, tell me you've seen some of this footage. It's like these glowing balls that the military shoots a rocket at it and the ball's just like bloop. You know what I mean? Have you seen this?
I
No,
saw
I
that
have no
one
idea.
in the recent news
Hmm.
where it just like absorbs the missile and like redirects it or something. It's really
Yes!
weird.
Like it's anime stuff.
I gotta check that out.
Maybe it's a Kamehameha.
Like somebody's yelling at Shinji about what a wimp he is right now, like 40 miles underground, and he's like trying to control the little like orb. It's like,
So you know who Stephen M. Greer is, right?
Yeah.
oh.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. He has a bunch of UFO buddies. They go out into the wilderness and they like summon electromagnetic energy aliens. And you can like see footage of it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, and you have to be like super positive, and they get all meditative, and they burn incense, right?
Yeah, it's like super hippie. He's a ufologist, a retired physician. He founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, CS SETI, and he's like all about the Disclosure Project, which claims to seek the disclosure of alleged classified UFO information. Pretty cool stuff. And he's all about like the energy entities that are UFOs.
And I like how his little perceptual shape-shifting device that keeps him from looking like a straight-up
Like
reptile is
reptilian?
half broken all the time. You know what I mean?
I'll always remember one time I saw one of dude's documentaries and like in it, he has an interview going on and he just like on command starts crying. And I'm like, dude, that is so fake. I could tell it's fake. And you could do it. You're really crying. And all I could think of, my conclusion, I don't trust you.
You know what I'm starting to realize is that Duper's delight is almost easier to notice than the truth, because the truth likes to obscure itself. But like when somebody starts laughing or giggling when they shouldn't, I only recently learned what the term meant. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I
Like,
catch on to that really easy.
duper's delight, like
'Cause,
when
like-
somebody's lying to you and they're like,
Yeah, I can notice like the subtlest shit in a person's tone, in their facial expressions, and like everything about their body language. And I just noticed all of that really easy. I'm a
Well,
Scorpio.
I give it up really easily. Like, I'm a terrible liar. So I just kind of tend to avoid it.
Well, if you're being authentic, it doesn't set it off, even if you are awkward.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that can be excused, but a lot of times when I do lie, my face turns bright red. So unless I'm already drunk or like I have just run around a whole bunch, you can tell.
Like I can listen to people have a conversation and like at my job or whatever, and I take a completely different meaning of the entire interaction than what they said.
Dude, I'm in the same camp as Mari. I suck at acting, so I just don't bother doing it.
I tend to think this ability is or can be considered universal, at least to some extent. And this is one of the reasons I like Star Wars, because when you're not sure about something in Star Wars, what do they tell you to do?
Search your
Trust
feelings.
the Force, Luke.
Search your feelings.
Like, you know, you're like, dude, Puff Daddy your wife. And he's like, no, Puff Daddy would never my wife. And he's like, dude, search your feelings. You know it to be true. He's like, no!
No!
Because we all
It's impossible.
Because we all kind of know the truth. We just... That's the thing about lies. When you encounter them, you either become a part of them or you call them out. And it's just...
And the truth doesn't have to defend itself.
No.
So Luke and I had this conversation, I think, about a week back, and he was relating a story to me of someone that he knew that it always sat like really poorly with him. Like he knew that something was like really, really off and like evil at its core. And when he described the event to me, I was like, oh, this is like a form of duper's delight, which got us on this whole thing because he was like, I don't know what that is. So you can find videos of this. It's like you'll recognize it. Not everyone knows a term for it, but you can search videos of what exactly it is. And there's a psychological aspect to it where primates tend to laugh to show like some kind of safety or security. It's like a group thing, like they can all laugh together and it's like a communal thing. And there's something about that that's like still in our programming where when people are telling a lie, they have this kind of action that they can't really hide, and that's like in really extreme cases it might come out as a laugh, but if they're used to lying it can come out as just like a smirk or a smile, which rubs you the wrong way. And I want to clarify too, because sometimes when people actually laugh in those situations, it's not the same thing as when people have awkward laughter as a soothing mechanism, because it still functions off of the same principle of safety, but instead of like trying to make the other person feel safe with your lie, awkward laughter is more like trying to make yourself feel safe with something that you're awkward with.
Laughing is a way to release anxiety.
Yes, that's like deeply rooted in us, and it's primate behavior.
And I just don't trust Stephen M. Greer,
I kind of don't either.
despite how he like says stuff that's not bad. Just, I don't know.
It's like those 2 or 3 frames where you catch him licking his eyeball that make me not trust him. I can think of a really famous instance of duper's delight. It's not super exaggerated, but it's noticeable enough for it to be famous. Like, I did not have sex with that woman.
Oh,
And
it's
Hillary's
like-
licking her eyeball in the background.
But that's a truth by omission because he didn't mention that he got a blowjob from that woman.
I thought he said like
Yeah, that
sexual
doesn't count.
relations. Didn't he say sexual relations?
Now, I have to go back to work on my State of the Union speech, and I worked on it till pretty late last night. But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
What is the definition of the word is what I want to know. I think that came up.
No, that's a great example, though, of it, because it's like you can watch through that and you can see that there's like this kind of underlying anxiety and like soothing behavior, which is also not just I'm telling you a lie and want you to believe it, so I'm smirking, but also I'm soothing myself because I'm having some anxiety about saying this.
Bill was just thinking about cigars. Okay, we have a second one.
Quote, even more recently, my wife and I, again, were walking the dog out in the same area We were heading home because it was starting to get dark quickly. Walking up the dirt road, heading back to our house. There is a hill with a wooded area at the top. I was scanning the area because we see deer out there almost every night. And when I looked up at the tree line, I quickly spotted a tall, skinny, white pale figure that darted in front of some trees and quickly disappeared. It didn't move like a flesh and blood creature would. It moved almost without motion. With no moving limbs or anything of that sort, I stopped walking, trying to make sense of what I saw because I wasn't sure if my eyes were playing tricks in the low light of the evening. I said to my wife, I think I just saw something weird, and she proceeded to describe the exact same thing I saw and said she didn't want to mention it because she too thought it was her eyes playing tricks on her. We both got some serious chills and proceeded to speed walk back home. We spend a lot of time out there and are very familiar with the various animals to be found out there, and this definitely wasn't one of them. There is definitely something uncanny about those fields. There are often times when we bring our dog out there when she absolutely refuses to go any further and we have to turn around. Needless to say, whenever we are out there in the late hours of the day, we are always on the lookout for something weird. End quote.
I always find the dog noticing something to be compelling.
Yeah, they see
man.
ghosts.
Yeah, they pick up on stuff.
Ruh-roh.
So we keep Mario around.
Yeah, I'm like the Scooby-Doo of the crew.
Like, the only weird thing we had while staying in the Queen Mary, supposedly one of the most haunted places in the United States. The dog kept looking at this obscure corner that was just out of sight in the hotel room. Like, it was like around a little corner, and the dog just like kept going off and like staring like up and off into that corner, like over and over and over again.
Like, we'd be in the middle of playing, like throwing a toy for him to grab, and then anytime he would pass that area, he would like stop, pause, and stare at it.
Like, get distracted.
Yeah, distracted by that empty corner and before coming back. So I'm like, there's something up with that.
The pale crawler, a likely match for the Maine woods sighting.
All right, so I used the artificial intellectual language learning robot to cross-reference this description that Crazy Lepus gave with other descriptions from the area, along with folklore in the area, to try and tell me if this is part of a pattern or if there was a known cryptid or something along those lines. And the result it gave me was something called the Pale Crawler.
Oh,
Now, supposedly, this entity emerges prominently in modern North American folklore, so 2000s and beyond. So it's not really ancient, unless you're talking about like Taco Bell scales of time, then I guess it is ancient. And so the Algonquin have tales of like the gaunt forest spirits. We've talked about like the stick people. I don't know if those are the Algonquin. There's also the Wendigo. But if we really want to like narrow it down to something really specific, this creature that Crazy Lepus saw is actually spotted all along the northeastern U.S. and oftentimes in Maine, although sometimes it goes into Canada and the Appalachian Trails as well.
Canada has all the cryptids.
It's described as something that's like motionless as it dashes, and it's definitely not local fauna.
man, he does look f***ed up. Look at that.
So I took Crazy Lepus's description, and then I had the robot take all of the descriptions, make an average of them, and then create a prompt to make an image based on all the various sightings. And this is the one I got.
It's f***ed up, dude.
It's like Slender Man, but it's
Naked.
his pale cousin with no clothes on.
If you've spent enough time on 4chan, you know that these things do get spotted in wooded areas, or at least people believe they do, or tell stories that they do. So here's a description of their physical qualities.
Standing 5 to 8 feet tall when upright, with an elongated torso and spindly limbs that give it a disproportionate, almost insectile silhouette. Pale, chalk white skin, stretched taut over bones. Devoid of hair or visible musculature, the face is typically featureless. No eyes, nose, or mouth, or faint slits that blend into the pallor, evoking a blank mask that unnerves observers. In low light, it appears semi-translucent, as if woven from mist or decaying birch bark, with elongated fingers that end in subtle hooks for silent gripping.
What if it's just very anemic?
It needs to go to the gym. Listeners, check out this picture. It's pretty creepy. Now let's check out its purported abilities. Incredibly stealthy and hyper-fast, capable of gliding or phasing between trees at speeds defying physics. Witnesses report it covering 50 feet in a blink, without limb articulation, more like a shadow rippling than a creature bounding. It exhibits hypnotic mimicry, echoing faint sounds, rustling leaves or distant calls to lure prey, and induces psychological dread, paralysis, chills, or auditory hallucinations. that make victims question their sanity. Aggression is implied but rare. Most encounters end in evasion, suggesting it's a territorial observer rather than a hunter. Some lore posits phasing through obstacles or vanishing into fog, tying it to interdimensional rifts in old growth woods. Spoopy.
Dude, I think we are like 5 years out from Bigfoot being actually discovered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, what do you mean?
I feel like there's got to be a breakthrough sooner or later.
I always feel like that.
I walked in on my mom watching some sci-fi documentary, and it was like the big, beautiful, majestic, wonderful Bigfoot. Something like that. And there are so many people that have stories of seeing a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There are people that have like poured, the stuff in the prints. Like, this thing's out there. I'm sorry. There's so many people that are like, I am not lying. I have no reason to lie. There's so many stories that are the same. This thing is a stealth ape, okay? I don't know if it's an alien. I don't know if it comes out of a portal, but it is very stealthy. It can walk through snow, like up a mountain, but they're real. And what is interesting in this documentary, they were showing like how they had begun to document recent sightings. They are just so obviously clustered in an organic way around forests where like humans don't go in the United States, in like Canada. You know what I mean? Like, it's out there, man. It's out there. It's real. I'm telling you. In like 5 years, it's going to be a thing. And everyone who pretended to not believe in Bigfoot's going to be like, yeah, I always knew Bigfoot was real.
Just like they did with the gorillas.
Yes, gorillas were not real, like not that long ago.
Dude, I have spent so much time in the wilderness and I have never seen anything paranormal. Like, I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen any like weird Bigfoot or anything like other in the wilderness. And it pisses me off because I've always been into this stuff. About motherfucking time would be my reaction.
Have you ever gone to a place that's a known hotspot, though?
Yeah, dude, I've been to Shasta Hell Summers. That's like one of the spots I like to go.
You
where I
could-
get my hippie crystals.
See, you don't want to have weird stuff happen to Shasta because it's always negative stuff, like the Darrow. Like, they'll kidnap you and like poke your butt full of stuff and like film you on
That's
camera.
bad?
And like, yeah, they're like little gnome creatures. They're all like wrinkly and they're like perverted stuff.
That's bad.
It's like they're just
You're
down
making it
there.
sound like I should move to Shasta.
To each his own. But if you'd like to hear the rest of our listener stories, which are equally as bizarre and messed up, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you unlimited access to our entire library of extended episodes, which, after you log in, you can listen and browse the shows from right within Spotify, which is super convenient because we have a lot of shows. I'll send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker for our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, and you'll get the secret keys to our Discord server where you need to post your videos of UFOs and Bigfoots so we can share them with the world. Dude, this thing's out there, okay? It's real. Go get it on video.
Yeah.
Woo.
And if you can't do that, make sure to eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew pew.
Beep, beep, beep.